Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for being here this morning. I know we have a few people who are on the way, and we wish them well when they get here. But we want to go ahead and get started to honor our time. We have folks joining us online who are ready for today and the amazing speakers we have. My name is Carmen Caldwell. I'm excited to be working with V4P on this project to serve as your facilitator, as your hostess, maybe with the mostest. We'll see. Y'all can judge me later. All right, but definitely want to lead us to an amazing day of content, of connection, of advocacy, and that is what V4P is about. As we talk about suicide prevention in the state of Georgia, in the critical work that we have ahead of us, I think COVID exacerbated some of the issues that we're seeing. One of the other things, though, is that I think it highlights the need for more mental health discussions, advocacy, and and because of that, we're here today and hopefully be able to really learn, grow, again, and make those connections we need to make to move forward the work of suicide prevention in the state of Georgia. So we have an agenda. We have some things that'll get shifted around. So just look and just know that we're going to flow. Is that okay? That's okay. Are y'all good with flowing? Y'all good with flowing? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. We are going to flow today, and I think even with the flow, and at the end of the day, you'll be glad you came. You'll be uplifted, encouraged. We have some amazing speakers today. It's not just me facilitating. I want to introduce Dustin. He will be our virtual facilitator, talking with our folks online, and we'll be engaging with them because we want to make sure that while they're not in the room, they're in the room, right? Okay, and Dustin will make sure. All right, so Dustin, you want to say anything?
Just good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here and excited to get going.
Awesome, awesome. And so today, as we're going throughout the day, we have opportunities for you to take pictures. We have I think it's called a step and repeat. Thank you. A step and repeat back there for you to take pictures, but also using today, if there's something that strikes you that you're like, oh, I need to tweet that out, or I want to take a picture, make sure you do that, but you use the hashtags we have. So we have hashtag Hope Through Action, and through is THRU, Hope Through Action, hashtag SPD 2022, hashtag Prevent Suicide GA, and then hashtag SPD. So any of those hashtags, any and all, right, of those hashtags, use those.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I sure will.
Somewhere, or
Yep, they may be on, and I don't have a folder in front of me, but I'll.
she said they're on the sheet. I'll find
They're on the sheet, okay, in your folder. So use those hashtags to really, and those of you all online, you should have it as well, because you have the agenda where you could download. Use those hashtags so we can find it, so we can create some energy and spark energy around this event, spark energy around this issue within the state of Georgia. And so with that, I want to go ahead and move into our agenda. We have a great speaker that's coming before us. I have a wonderful youth, Cameron Washington. Give her a hand as she comes. Yay, Cameron. Cameron is an 8th grader at Flat Rock Middle School in Fayetteville, Georgia. She is with the organization AV Pride, and she's going to introduce our first speaker. Thank you, Cameron.
Rachel Holloman currently works for the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Development Disabilities as the Suicide Prevention Director, and previously worked for DBHDD as the Transition Coordinator for Residential Services in Region 4 Field Office in Thomasville, Georgia, since 2016. She has a master's degree in clinical counseling psychology and is a licensed professional counselor. She has been providing services in the field of behavioral health for over 15 years. Some of her experiences include supervising a community support team in rural communities, providing leadership as the mental health director of a DJJ Regional Youth Detention Center, supervising an intensive family intervention team as well as providing services in a community capacity for individuals involved with DJJ and DFCS, and assisting rural farmers in understanding, applying for, and receiving much-needed grant funding following natural disasters. Rachel has spent her entire life both living and working in rural communities in Georgia, especially South Georgia. Rural mental health services and suicide prevention are passions of her life.
Thank you. It's hard to get up and talk in front of people, and we do it every day. And so I definitely want to thank our youth who are here today to read these bios. They're not always the easiest thing to read, and we put a lot of jargon in there and language at times. So thank you so much, sweetheart. You did a great job. As she said, my name is Rachel Holloman. I'm the Suicide Prevention Director for DBHCD. And this is great. First off, it's great to be able to look out in the room and see people. For those of you that are virtual, we're glad to have you too. But I just want to thank everyone with V4P that helped us get this organized and ready to go. Y'all done a great job, and we're really excited to be here. I actually was going to speak and tell you all the wonderful things that we are doing in the state of Georgia in suicide prevention, but I received a text this week that made me, on my ride up, just really feel like I needed to change and pivot. So y'all bear with me. We said we were going to flow, so I'm going to flow today. Recently I was asked, why is it important to talk about suicide prevention? And as a clinician, someone who has devoted her life to this, I kind of gave them that, really? Like, you're asking me what? You don't already know why it's important? And so I kind of had to step back. And as I did, what I told them was, it's important to talk about it. Because the more we talk about it, the more suicide we prevent. We really want to make talking about suicide prevention normal conversation. We want people to be comfortable talking about suicide. We don't want it to be the S word that everybody's so scared to say. And recently, I went to a high school and a middle school. I went to both after 2 unfortunate deaths by suicides in their community. And I got up in front of these kids and I talked to them about suicide, and it was about a 30-minute presentation. And it was really, I told them, I said, I have been out of high school a few decades. We're not going to go into years. And I said, and I am more nervous talking in front of y'all than I am when CBS interviews me, or I go to the Capitol, or I speak to the governor. I was like, because quite frankly, I remember what it was like to be in middle school and high school and be judged, and to feel like you were being judged. And so I said, so I'm a little nervous up here talking to y'all, and in true teenage fashion, they interacted well, or as well as teenagers can, when you're talking to them about suicide and depression and anxiety. And that was about 6 weeks ago. And I was trying to really reduce the stigma. We work so hard to not just reduce the stigma around mental health, but also specifically around suicide prevention. And this has gotten more and more important, particularly with our adolescents since COVID. The numbers and the calls that come into my office keep me up at night. They make me strive to make the best programs that we can for both our youth and adults. In the state of Georgia, I'm constantly searching for what's the best way, what's the best program, what's the best initiative. Just what do we need to do? Where can we fix some of this? What can we make better? And so 6 weeks go by. And this week I get a text, and it was from a parent from one of the kids that I spoke to in the high school. And I'm not going to give you the child's name, but I just want you to know why it's so important to talk about suicide prevention. And she says, on a serious and unrelated note, the talk you did at the school had quite the impact on my daughter. She came home that day telling me some of the stuff you said. She has been suffering silently from depression for almost 2 years now. She wouldn't admit it to herself or to anyone else, but I've watched her spiraling down. I knew I couldn't force her to get help, but I did talk with her about it frequently. She was ashamed and embarrassed to ask for help, but your talk had her thinking. There was a day a couple weeks ago that it all imploded, and we had to force her to accept help. Thanks to your talk, she was ready. She talks to a therapist now and is on medication that has made a world of difference. So all of that is to say that you may not have known if the kids were listening, but they were. And your words helped at least one to understand that she wasn't alone and that it takes courage to ask for help. Thank you so much for doing that, because you very well could have saved us from the worst pain any parent could ever feel, the pain of having to bury their child. And you hear my voice, like it broke my heart to know that this child was going through this. Also, I was very proud of her for getting the help that she needed. But there are times when we are in suicide prevention that it can get rough. And there are times, when people ask you, why do you do this? Why do you get up every morning and you do this? Why do you fight this fight? Why do you stand up in front of people and legislators and funding sources, and why is it so important? And that's why it's so important. That one child, that one person that you come across to today, that maybe just because you were kind and took a minute to look them in their eyes, to truly, genuinely ask how they were doing, and wait for a true, genuine response, not just I'm fine and go on. Like, no, really, tell me what's going on. How are you? That's why we do what we do. That's why suicide prevention is so important, because you never know that life that you're going to touch, and you can touch that life in a matter of minutes doing the same stuff that we do every day. So I want to thank everyone here. I want to thank everyone virtually. We're excited about today. We're excited to have you, and I just want to hope you walk away encouraged today to continue the great work that you're doing in the state of Georgia.
Wow, what a story. And it really does speak to why we're here. It speaks to the work that we do and why it matters, even if it's just one life. And sometimes like all of this, work that happens behind the scenes and while we're at our desks, sometimes seeming like we're shuffling papers and working on things and making phone calls or reading through materials, getting trained in courses, and you think, but then you hear a story like that, and that's the boost we need to keep going. So thank you so much for going with the flow and shifting and transitioning and encouraging us to really get out there and reduce. What I heard was to reduce the stigma. And as we're talking to young people, while sometimes we don't think they're listening, and it resonates. And we never know whether we are planting a seed or watering the seed, but understanding that eventually that seed will blossom and the message of suicide prevention will bloom in their life, and prayerfully there'll be a group of people, a community that they can reach out to for the support they need. So thank you so much, Rachel, for your message and your talk today. Moving on, we have the amazing Jill Mays will be coming, and she will be introduced today by Sonika Kumar, who is a sophomore at McIntosh High School, and she is also with AV Pride. Come on, Sonika. I'm so glad our youth are involved today.
Good morning. Jill D. Mays is currently the Director of Office of Behavioral Health Prevention and Federal Grants of the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, where she provides an oversight to substance abuse and suicide prevention, mental health promotion, and cultural and linguistic technical assistance. Mrs. Mays is a licensed professional counselor with over 25 years of experience in her behavioral health field. Her passion for helping others has led her to dedicate most of her career to developing and operating successful clinical and support services programs in Atlanta and across the country. Formerly, Mrs. Mays was an assistant director of the Office of Adult Mental Health, where she provided programmatic and contract oversight for crisis services, the PATH Homeless Service Program, and behavioral health treatment court services, the Forensic Peer Mentor Program, veterans and older adult older adults initiatives, and other special projects, including DBHDDS's collaboration with the Georgia Public Safety Training Center for the Crisis Intervention Team Training Program for Law Enforcement. Mrs. Mays is a sought-after nationwide consul. Okay, wait, hold on. Mrs. Mays is a sought-after nationwide consultant and trainer in the areas of general behavioral health services, criminal justice, and behavioral health, homeless outreach and housing services, disaster mental health, and marriage enrichment. Her new coaching group, Godly Wives Looking Up, is a monthly source of support, practical skills, and girls' night out for fun for women looking to level up in their marriages. Jill's biography has been featured in Who's Who in America, Who's Who in the South and Southwest, Who's Who Among Women, and Who's Who in Medicine and Healthcare. Mrs. Mays was honored in 2002 as a recipient of Atlanta. That's all it says. So.
Thank you, Sonic, and I'm sorry they made you read all of that. But, I mean, I guess the best bio for me would just be, she likes to help people. That's all you needed to say. But since you said all that, I will say to the students who are watching out there in virtual land, at one point in my life, I was just a middle schooler who liked to play kickball. That's what my whole life was about. So all of that Sonica read just goes to show that if you see it, you can be it. You can have all of that connected to your name. But the thing that I'm most proud of is I just like to help people. So good morning. I'm Jill Mays, Director of the Office of Behavioral Health Prevention and Federal Grants at the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. Our business cards at DBHDD are really postcards because we all have really long titles and we have a long agency name, but we really just like to help people. That's all that they really needed to say. But so thank you for that wonderful introduction. And good morning to everybody. I bring you greetings on behalf of Commissioner Judy Fitzgerald, the Commissioner of DBHDD, and she sends her regrets that she wasn't able to join us in person today. She loves being in person at these events. She told us in the leadership team the other day that she's really tired of virtual meetings and she wants to go to things where she can see people and talk to people. So she sends her regrets that she couldn't be here, but she did send me some things to say, give me some things to say to you that I will say in just a bit. So I woke up this morning, I rolled over in my bed and I saw the light outside my window. And I thank God that I lived to see another day. Please join me in a moment of silence for the 130 people who didn't live to see another day because they died by suicide yesterday. Thank you. When I was a little girl, I grew up the daughter of a Baptist preacher. I learned a hymn. Actually, I learned a lot of hymns, but I learned a particular hymn that I really, really loved, and it's taken me through almost 50 years of life. And it says, "When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well. It is well with my soul." Now, Webster defines well as something that's in a good or satisfactory way, something that's done in a thorough manner, or to be in good health, free or recovered from illness. And when it comes to determining what causes suicide, there are a number of reasons why someone would want to take their own life. However, a few leading causes often account for a majority of suicides each year. Major depression is the most common cause of suicide. Deep depressive thoughts are typically accompanied with a sense of suffering and a feeling of hopelessness about escaping the pain. For many among us, maybe even some right here in this room right now, things indeed are not well. And that is why we all do this work. That is why we've all gathered today to shed light and heighten awareness about suicide and the primary prevention, treatment, and recovery resources that are greatly needed in Georgia, so that not one more life is lost to this endemic called suicide. When the commissioner told me that she wasn't going to be able to join us today, she said, "Please say what you know I would say." So if she were here, she would want you to know that DBHDD has great concern about the rising number of youth suicides as well as youth suicide attempts. At least 67 Georgians under the age of 18 had died by suicide as of November of 2021. And that's an increase of over 55 from 2020. And this is according to data that we've received from the GBI. Still other cases we know, because there's a lag in data reporting, we know that there are many more cases than those 67. But that preliminary count represents a horrible milestone. That's the most youth suicides that have been reported in Georgia since the GBI began tracking that data over a decade ago. Commissioner Fitzgerald would also want me to reiterate DBHDD's strong commitment to continue making suicide prevention in Georgia a priority in terms of our programming and initiatives and funding. So thank you for joining us at the 2022 Suicide Prevention Advocacy Day at the Capitol. The collective voice that will be heard in the halls of the Capitol today will make a difference. For centuries, grassroots efforts in our country have caused unprecedented transformation, and I believe that no less is possible for this suicide prevention movement that we're all a part of. What you do and say today will go a long way in creating an environment and a community where people feel supported, where they have access to mental health and other resources that constitute the social determinants of health, where children are protected from trauma and raised to be resilient and expressive, like the students that we've heard this morning, where stigma is a thing of the past and seeking help is normalized, where things are indeed well, and where hope abounds. Thank you. Hashtag Hope Through Action.
Thank you. Yeah, for grounding us, for your message about the commitment that DBHDD is making to suicide prevention in Georgia. And it's always great to hear our state agencies leading the cause, leading the drive, being at the forefront of that. So I just want to give a round of applause to DBHDD and your commitment to that work. Thank you so much. And it truly can and is well with our souls. And yeah, I won't say more about that because then I start going into my Baptist preaching, right? We don't want to do that, okay? But again, I think we're here today to really focus on the message of suicide prevention, to really encourage ourselves, and y'all are doing just that. We're going to continue with that. We have an amazing woman with us today, Michelle Cope, who is the founder of the Yellow Elephant Ministries, and she'll be coming with us. Yellow Elephant Ministries is a grassroots suicide awareness nonprofit out of Moultrie, Georgia, South Georgia. Started in October of 2015 in memory of her friend Christina, who died by suicide in May of 2012. She contracts with Hearts for Families as a community resource specialist in Region 4 with Dustin Enfinger. Shout out to Dustin.
Hey, everybody.
For the Suicide Prevention Project. And she's also a proud mother of an 11-year-old and in love with her fiance of 3 years. She loves sports and has 3 out of 4 in the Final Four. Good job. Her fantasy basketball is going well, right? So she was a recipient of one of 6 Healthy Moms and Babies Mother of the Year awards in 2019 and Golden Heart Award from Hearts for Families in 2020. So I introduce to you and bring to you Michelle Cope, founder of the Yellow Elephant Ministries. Give her a hand.
So, I am honored to be here. I don't want to be here because that means I lost somebody. And her sister is here with me today as support. And Tara said, hey, can you speak? Sure can. I had the power dress on. I love this dress. Shout out to Kato's. But anyway, before the Elephant started, I worked in the restaurant business. I'm a college dropout. I never did anything with advocacy, nonprofits, but God had another plan. In 2012, Christina passed away to suicide. And it took me 3 years, and I'm still grieving. Of course, you don't grieve after 3 years. Grieving doesn't have a timeline. Been moving to a different location. I moved back home so my daughter can be around my family, my parents. And I was sitting in a Walmart parking lot in Moultrie, Georgia. Yeah, great place to have an idea. God spoke to me. I was sitting there thinking of my friend Christina that died by suicide and her love for elephants. A lot of people knew she loved butterflies and dragonflies, but not many people knew she did love elephants as well. She had a plaster one that was like about 2 feet tall in her room that broke 3 days before she died. And with that being said, I had a light bulb moment, or God moment, and he said, elephant in the room. We know it's there, but nobody speaks about it. And he said, I need you to use a talent that you said is boring and go home and use it, which was drawing. The original elephant drawing is over there. It was a pencil drawing. It has semicolon tusks because your story's not over yet. It has more than one semicolon because you have more than one pause in life. So I was in between jobs, by the way. I forgot that I told you I had lost a job. And so I didn't know what to do. And in that time frame, God put me in a place where I knew when I drew that I wanted to be a decal, just like on the back here of my phone. So when you see the elephant, you ask that question. So back to being jobless. And, God put me in a place that was a sign and decal place in Moultrie, Georgia. I worked there, ended up working there enough time to get it printed. And the first time I ever presented the elephant was at NAMI Moultrie. And it was already yellow. It did start out as red, but y'all know why I didn't keep it red. You all know that. But yellow, and I was sitting in a meeting, and one of the board members said, you know what? The international color for suicide awareness is yellow. And I was like, wow, okay. So God's hand's been in this, and from the beginning. And we all have different beliefs, and I don't disrespect that. But for me and for this movement, it has moved it further. It has moved it to where I am standing across from the Capitol building in the state of Georgia, and from Southwest Georgia, from where rural communities is where suicides happen in the state of Georgia. If the big cities weren't here, we'd be a lot higher in the rankings. In Colquitt County, the county I live in, from 2014 to 2021, we had over 100 suicides, just in a county of 35,000 people. So, but last year, in 2020, we had 18 suicides. Last year, we only had 6. So we're talking about it, it's being spoken about, but one mission with the elephant is to have this decal and make it simple enough for a 10-year-old to understand. So when they see it, why do you have that decal? It starts that conversation without being invasive. It says, hey, this is what happened. I'm an ally, or I lost somebody, or I attempted. And there's different color elephants, and we do have our website and resources over there if you want to see. But everybody has an elephant in the room at some time in their life. We all have a moment that has caused us to see, hey, do I want to go on? We may not be exactly suicidal, but we had that moment of darkness. And I just want to help bring people to lightness. One of our missions and visions is to eradicate the #1 cause of death for 10 to 14-year-olds in the state of Georgia, and that's suicide. And that's been the same way since 2014. That should not be. Our babies, that's 5th grade to 9th grade. Those are babies. My daughter's 11. And so I don't want to ramble on anymore, but I just want to say that what we're doing is important. What we need to continue. We need to continue those conversations. We just recently started online support groups. We partnered with one of the colleges down in South Georgia with their master's programs so they can have a place to have a voice. We have them for parents, youth, and for adults. And I just hope that it grows because we all need a place for safe to talk. So thank you for letting me speak. I'm just so honored to be here and to see that there's people that actually have the same heart as me. So thank you, and y'all have a blessed day.
Wow, thank you for the work that you do, for the heart that you have for this work, for the mission that you have, and you know how some great things get birthed out of tragedy and purpose comes oftentimes from the pain. And so thank you for leaning into that and to creating an organization, but also a movement to help people talk about the elephant in the room and save lives. So thank you for the work that you do. Let's give her another wonderful round of applause. We have some youth that'll be coming in shortly. They are, if you all are online, one of the things we have here, it's going to sound real proper, a COVID concierge. And so we're making sure that everyone here is safe and healthy and all of those things. So they are being processed and will be joining us soon at the tables, but we want to give some time and space for that. One of the things Michelle wrote or shared was about keep writing your story. And so I have this, I don't know which side because I'm all buttoned up right now. I got all these buttons, but it's the semicolon, right? One of the symbols, if you will, for suicide prevention, because we got to keep writing our story. And it's like, you keep waking up. I think Jill mentioned this, right? Like, so thankful to see a new day. And we offer that gratitude every time we experience a new day. Like, you make it every day. And some days are tougher than others. But there's a story to be written. Your story is not over. And as long as we do have breath in our body, there is opportunity for change. There is an opportunity for us to turn the page over and continue to write our story. So thank you all for your messages. We do have some amazing partners with us who are the reason this is being put on, who sponsor and putting forth the effort, energy, and resources behind making sure this event happens. So I do want to recognize DBHDD in particular for their funding around this. So thank them. We also have the Council on Alcohol and Drugs, also a sponsor for this event. And Voices for Prevention, also a sponsor for this event. And then Beacon Health Options, also a sponsor for this event. So if you have not gotten an opportunity to meet our sponsors, to connect with what they do, we have resource tables over here to my left where you can definitely learn about these organizations, how you can connect with them and partner with the work. It's all about collaboration. We cannot do this work on our own. We cannot do it in silos. It must be done in a connected way. And one way to connect is through these organizations who are just championing the work of suicide prevention within our communities. We also have, so I want to make sure that you have your purple tickets. We have giveaways that will be shared a little bit later in our time today. So if you don't have a purple ticket, you want to make sure you go back to that table and get one, because we have some amazing prizes. I know there's like some headphones and some other goodies, some Amazon gift cards, because who doesn't like Amazon, right? So just know that there are some prizes and giveaways that we will have coming. Dustin, tell me about online. What are folks saying there?
So far, we've gotten a lot of love for our student presenters. Thank you all so
Yes.
much. And a lot of outreach and support. A lot of people really like what Michelle had to say and are very excited about the work she's doing in her support groups. And what else do we got here? We've got some shout outs to some of our individual presenters.
Okay.
Looks like y'all got some friends in the audience. So,
Y'all got fans out there
Y'all
in the
got fans.
interwebs.
and so, there's a slight delay online
Yeah,
versus what we're
sure.
seeing here. So these questions might come in a little after
Okay.
the fact, but
So if we get any
the energy's
questions-
good in there.
Awesome. Thank you. And we want those of you online to know we are thankful that you're with us, that while you're not in the room, you are in the room. And we're glad that you're with us today. So with that, I want to maybe get my agenda, because that might be good to have in front of me. Probably mine, though, because mine got all kind of extra notes on here. I want to shift us. We have a video presentation by one of our young people, Traviana Enoch, who could not be with us because she's like taking midterms. So I'm like, priorities, please. But she chose midterms. So she could not be with us today, but she wanted to send her video. So let's give our attention to the screen and to Traviana.
Hello, my name is Traviana Enoch. I am 19 years old and I am from Moultrie, Georgia. I am a part of the Yellow Elephant organization with Miss Michelle. I wanted to come on here and really try my best to share my story with you guys and hope to reach some of you guys who think that other people aren't going through the same things that you are going through, because we are. About 4 years ago, I found myself in a depressed state. I couldn't get any motivation to do anything. It was just really hard for me to get up. Every day I would sleep in a lot. I wasn't eating anything. And honestly, I can't even really say if I know what caused it. I had lost my grandmother the year before, and coming to terms with that was really hard for me, and I feel like that played a big role in me being in that state. I did self-harm, and I really thought that it would be something that could get this pain out, and it never really happened. It was more of a moment thing. In the moment, it would sustain the feeling, but it always came back. I know that a lot of people feel that making the courage to tell somebody like, hey, I need help is really hard. It took a lot for me to even muster up the courage to tell my mom that I needed help, because I didn't want her to see me in that light, but I knew that that was the last step that I could have taken before it got further. Me and my mom got really close during this. I started going to therapy, and I really started looking into myself. I learned so many new things about myself from just taking a step back and spending time with myself and understanding that everything happens for a reason. And there's just some things in life that you can't control, and you have to learn to self-ground yourself and know that you will be okay regardless of the things that are going on around you. You have to be able to find your light in the darkness. My light came from things like being surrounded by amazing people, Miss Michelle, Josie, my mother, just amazing supportive people around me who were there for me 24/7 whenever I needed prayer or just someone to talk to about what was going on. I got into therapy and really learned a lot more about myself and who I was, because I was really young and was still in high school and was getting ready to go to college, and it was just a lot of pressure on me. I found myself doing things like journaling and going out for walks and things like that that really helped me calm down and just take a look back and say, hey, you deserve this to be here on this earth. You deserve to get all the things that the Lord has placed here for you. And I really want everyone that's going through anything to know that you are deserving of so much. Everything that you see on this earth, you deserve, because God put you here for a reason. I am always available to anyone who needs help. I don't mind ever giving my phone number out. And I really think that this helped me understand who I was. And I thank God every day for the journey that I have been on. It's still an ongoing journey. I'm still in school and it does get hard. But I know that I have come from something so bad that I can overcome anything that comes my way. I'm glad that I did not take that step forward to, commit it and still be here. I wouldn't be in college and I wouldn't have graduated. I want to be around these amazing people. There are so many people in this world. There are so many beautiful people in this world that you come across. And I thank God that I stayed here to be able to meet these amazing people. Again, my name is Treviana Enoch. I really hope that I offered you guys some motivation and was able to help you guys just a little, even if it was just a tiny bit. I really hope that my message speaks to you guys, and always know that we are here for you whenever you need it. We will be your light in the darkness.
So Rachel says we need to send Treviana some shout outs, and we definitely do. So I know those of online are already engaged, and they're a little delayed, but already giving her some shout outs. So let's just give Treviana, she's not here, but let's give her another round of applause. Her message, right, of that she recognized that she needed help and even pushed past the shame that she felt or not feeling like she should say anything to asking for the help. And I think that's so critical. Just open your mouth and push past sometimes that feeling, because it really is. There really are people that are in your lives and in your circle and in your communities who are ready to support you and catch you as you may feel like you're falling. So she got the help she needed. And what I love that she said is, you are deserving of so much. And sometimes we don't feel like that every day, but there has to be a knowing, right? And if you don't know for yourself, surrounding yourself with people and being engaged in community that knows that for you in those moments where you can't muster up that for yourself. So thank you again, Treviana, for your message. We wish you well on your midterms, wherever you may be right now. She's, I think, at Fort Valley State University, which is my arch rival, but, I'm not going to say, I still celebrate all students who choose to put forth their efforts in education. So we have a couple giveaways, or one giveaway right now. So if you have your purple ticket, pull it out. We want to welcome this group of young people who are with us and joined us. Where are you all from? South Sequoia Middle School. Where is that? In Tucker. Okay, welcome. We're so glad you all. And Tucker Middle School. I'm sorry. Thank you. Sequoia Middle School and Tucker Middle School. We have folks online, so we wanted to make sure they knew that you all were in the building, all right? So we're so glad to have you. We have a giveaway, so everyone have their tickets out. It's for an Amazon gift card, because why not? All right, I am shuffling, and I have one. Our winner, your number is 752032. All right, awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. And we'll have some other prizes and giveaways. We have one more. Okay. We have one more giveaway. And those of you online, there are opportunities for you to get giveaways as well. So as you engage in the platform, as you go to different booths on the platform, you earn points. And at the end of the day, we'll see who earned the most points, and there'll be giveaways for you all too. So you aren't left out. Remember, you're not in the room, but you're in the room. We're glad you're here. All right, so our next giveaway is, the number is 338040. 338040. Going once. 338040. Okay. No, you can't keep it, Tara. I know, that would be nice. Otherwise, I'd be like, I don't even see any tickets. There are no tickets. If we could keep it all, right? All right, our next number, let's see, hopefully you're in the room, 338037. 338. All right. Woohoo! Congratulations. Congratulations. Another Amazon gift card giveaway. Awesome. So we have some pre-recorded messages from some special guests. So our tech team is telling me we are good and ready to go. So please put your attention on our screens for our messages from our guests.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Kojo Sarfil, your Hollywood mental health expert. And I just want to take some time out to talk about suicide prevention. You know, this is something that, believe it or not, all of us can help to make a difference. You know, when we talk about suicide and mental health, you know, we often think about people in our lives that have been affected by this issue, but we fail to realize that we all play a part and we can all do something to help out. You know, and as a mental health professional, I talk to people on a daily basis, and I help them when they're having suicidal thoughts or when they feel depressed. And, you know, I give them some tools that they can use to not only equip themselves, but also help out other people that might be feeling the same way. But for those of you all who are watching, I'd like for you all to know that we all can do something to help out with this issue. And whether it's sharing a story or telling your own story, or, you know, reposting some information that you saw online that could be beneficial, and it could reach a certain target audience that might need that information at that very moment. There's so much that we can do when it comes to suicide prevention. So I want you all to know that there is hope and we can do something to help out. And once again, thank you so much for listening.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shannon Gordon, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of River Edge Behavioral Health, serving Central Georgia and Fulton County. Thank you so much for taking time to view this. We're here today to talk about the prevalence of suicide in America. Unfortunately, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, according to the CDC in 2019. It's the second leading cause of death for people between the ages of 10 and 34, and the third leading cause of death for people aged 35 to 44. But there's good news. Suicide, it doesn't have to be the selected solution because help is available. Suicidal thoughts happen because the pain is greater than a person's ability to cope, or the pain doesn't seem like it's going to have an end. So often people don't really want to die. They want the pain to stop. So what's important is to create environments where people can reach out for help and have alternatives, and make it more challenging to have access to means when their emotions are overwhelming them. Accordingly, we here at River Edge talk about be sure to ask questions, work to persuade people that there is help available, and make referrals. Don't be afraid to ask the question, are you thinking of hurting yourself? Are you thinking of committing suicide? Don't be afraid to say, I want you to live. I want you to be here tomorrow. Don't be afraid to say, let me help you find help. Speaking of help, River Edge and the community service boards across Georgia are available for appointment without, for services even without appointment. There is a safety net to help people, regardless of ability to pay, regardless of insurance status. To reach River Edge, you can call 478-803-7700 if you prefer to schedule an appointment. Also, across Georgia are what are known as behavioral health crisis service centers. River Edge's Crisis Service Center operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and is located at 60 Blandy Way in Milledgeville. Please be here tomorrow.
Greetings to the Council on Alcohol and Drugs, and thank you so very much for your hard work at the Capitol, advocating for legislation that will bolster efforts to prevent suicide. First, I'd like to commend you for taking the time to get involved in the legislative process in Atlanta. The single best way to keep our democracy strong and find solutions to the problems we face is to band together and talk to people. To that end, it's so important that all of you are here today advocating for mental health and suicide prevention, which is an issue I've been focused on long before I came to the Senate. This once-in-a-century pandemic has exacerbated the growing mental health crisis facing our state and nation and highlighted the need to provide support and resources for people's mental health and well-being. Many Georgians and Americans are urgently in need of access to quality, evidence-based mental health services. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 47% of people report the pandemic has negatively affected their mental health. Additionally, there has been an 891% increase in the number of calls to suicide prevention hotlines and a significant increase in texts to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's mental health hotline. I firmly believe that mental health care is health care, which is why I recently introduced a legislative package to address mental health crisis from multiple angles. This expands access to peer support services, expedites the availability of mental health services after a major disaster like the health crisis we are currently experiencing, and importantly, puts more funding towards hiring and maintaining critical mental health professionals in schools. I'm determined to get something done to expand access to and prioritize mental health care for all Georgians. So thank you for joining me in this important effort. Thank you for showing up and standing up. Thanks for all you're doing, and keep pushing. I know that working together, we can make progress. Keep the faith and keep looking up.
This is Governor Brian Kemp.
And I'm First Lady Marty Kemp.
We want to welcome all of you to the Capitol as you gather for an important cause, suicide prevention.
Suicide affects people from all walks of life and has a devastating impact on those suffering with suicidal thoughts and their families.
We appreciate your efforts to raise awareness and help connect people with valuable resources before it's too late.
It is up to all of us to ensure people know their lives have value and that they are loved.
We want to thank each of you for your commitment to breaking through the stigma and decreasing suicide rates in Georgia. God bless.
Thank you to our special guests for recording those videos and bringing them their messages. Definitely are resonating with what we do. I think the work we have, someone mentioned in there, suicide doesn't have to be the selected solution because there is hope. And I think that's the message we want to take back. And one of the things too is not being afraid to ask the question, are you considering suicide? And a lot of times we feel like we don't have the resources to, if I ask somebody and they say yes, what do I do, right? And that's why we're in this room, so you can get the resources you need. We have resource information and tables, connections with organizations across the state of Georgia. So wherever you live, to know that those resources are there and available for you, and get those back to your communities, back to the folks that you really serve. I want to now shift. We are preparing for our keynote speaker, which I'm super excited. I had the pleasure a few years ago of hearing him speak. So I just want you to know you want to lean in and gain everything you can from this talk, because it's a powerful message, a powerful story. He will be introduced by Ms. Jocelyn Wong. She is a senior. Come on up, Jocelyn. She's a senior at McIntosh High School, and she's with AV Pride out of Fayetteville. So let's give Jocelyn a wonderful round of applause on introducing and on your senior year. That's exciting.
First off, I want to say thank you for hosting such a wonderful event and raising awareness to a really important cause. As a senior, I've been through all 4 years of high school, and it has been a ride, and mental health is definitely a big priority. It doesn't matter what grade you're in, it's important to talk about, especially for our youth. Kevin Hines is an award-winning brain and mental health and suicide prevention activist, entrepreneur, multiple award-winning filmmaker, best-selling author, international educator, and speaker who reaches audiences with his story of an unlikely survival and strong will to live. 2 years after he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, at 19 years of age, he attempted to take his life by jumping from the Golden Gate Bridge. He is one of only 34 to survive the fall, and the only one to regain full physical mobility. The fall would break his body, but not his spirit. Today, Kevin dedicates his life to saving lives and encouraging others to seek help and spread empathy by spreading the message of hope and sharing his story. He's one of the most respected and admired voices of lived experience. Kevin's story is a remarkable testament to the strength of the human spirit and a reminder for us to love the life that we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for that very kind and warm introduction. I really appreciate that. Before I begin to share with all of you my story, there's something we must do right here, right now, and together. We must take a moment of silence for all of those that we have lost to death by suicide from lethal emotional pain, the common denominator of how and why we lose people this way. Let us today honor their memory. Let us hold it dear. Let us never forget the light and the beauty from within them that exuded. Let us never forget the love that they shared with us, and let us be eternally grateful for the very little time we had with them. In my short few years on this planet, I have now lost 12 people I care about to suicide, and that's 12 people too many, am I right?
Yeah.
And one person is one person too many, am I correct?
Yeah.
So let us right here, right now, in this moment, hold a time of silence for those that we have lost this way. Thank you. Thank you very much. My father, Patrick, who adopted me when I was 4 years of age and took me in when I was 9 months old from foster care, he told me recently I've come a long way from under the Golden Gate Bridge. But what led me there in the first place? What led me then, a 19-year-old young man, to the ninth wonder of the world, what some call the most beautiful man-made structure ever created? Clearly, they've never been to Georgia. What led me to attempt to take my life in a way that is 99% fatal? 99% of the people who have leapt off that bridge never again get to share their stories. They are gone forever. There's no getting them back, and their families mourn them each and every waking moment of every single day. Why did I go there to take my life, and how did I get to live? In order to answer those questions, we must stop here and go back into the rearview mirror into the time I was born. Born to biological parents as I'm adopted, Marcia Silvera and Martino Perales. Martino was half Mexican and half Italian, my father. And Marcia hailed from James Bond Island, Jamaica. She was Jamaican, black, African, Arawak Indian, Portuguese, Scottish, Irish, English, and Sephardic Jew, basically everything but Asian. My birth mom was. And she and Martino fell head over heels in love in the 1970s in San Francisco during the hippie era, and they were hippies through and through. They fell head over heels in love, and they had 2 infant boys just 10 months apart, if you catch my drift. 9 months to make a baby. That was quick, okay? And they had us, but they had nothing else. They had no feasible legal income. They were hustling to survive. We were born in squalor in the Tenderloin of San Francisco, the worst neighborhood there then, the worst neighborhood there today. We were living in and out of crack motels. That's where my life began, truly humble beginnings. And my birth parents, they loved us dearly, but they couldn't take care of us because they couldn't take care of themselves. They would leave us unattended to go do score or sell drugs every day. That was our life. Lying on a box spring for a mattress over a concrete slab floor. Had we have fallen to that concrete slab floor, we could have cracked our heads open and died. Had we have touched the dangerous drug paraphernalia, the sharp metal objects on the bed they had left there, we could have ended our lives. Until one day, one seedy motel clerk made his most unseedy decision. He heard our screams and cries of neglect in his mind just one too many times, and he did us the first solid anybody ever would. He called the police. And the police came in with Child Protective Services, and they swooped us up smelling sour and putrid of our own filth, and they placed us into the system, foster care. A system, for all the good it did back then, was doing a world of bad. A system that would allow kids to age out into 18, into homelessness without a penny in their pockets. A system that allowed kids to be abused and neglected by the very foster parents set to protect them. A system, for all the good it's done today, still allots for both of those things to occur even now. My brother and I bounced around from home to home with one simple idea, that he and I were to be adopted together. Do you think that's what happened? No way. Sure, we bounced around from home to home for a bit, knew mom and dad every couple of days or weeks, no stability, often neglect. And then we landed in one of those foster homes filled with neglect, and we both got a vicious strain of bronchitis, and my only full-blooded brother, Jordash, died. I immediately developed a severe detachment disorder from reality and abandonment issues that follow me until today. Every time somebody I love dies, I feel like they're leaving me on purpose, and I can't shake it no matter how much therapy I do, and I do a lot of therapy. They say that Jordash looked exactly like me, my brother, with blonde curly hair. Can you see it? When I grow mine out, it's long, wavy, and auburn, but that's neither here, except this patch back here, which is going away, which is frustrating. Part of getting old. My brother died. I bounced around from home to home, knew mom and dad every couple of days or weeks, and no stability, until, unlike my poor brother, I got lucky. I landed in the home of Peter and Deborah Muller. Peter was in the Army, and as you well know, often has to be restationed, and Debbie was a housewife. They were a transitional home for kids. Many kids would come in at the same time, foster kids, and then foster parents from all over the area would see who they were going to take home and adopt. My name wasn't always Kevin Hines. That is my adopted white name. My biological, come on. My biological name is Giovanni Gabriel Prasad Feralis. Try saying that 10 times fast. But somehow my brother's name is just Jordash. Where are his 4 names, Mom and Dad? What the heck? All right. Well, I got lucky. I'm in the Muller's home, and one fateful day, a lovely young woman named Deborah Joan Hines walks in their door. Now, you know my last name by now. Spoiler alert, this works out. Debbie walks in their door, fully expecting to take home one of the many little girls in the house. She's looking for a little girl to be the sister of Elizabeth Catherine, the girl she and Patrick Kevin Hines had already taken in. They wanted to give Elizabeth a sister. Now, I said in a high school in Australia once when I gave this speech, I said, do I look like a sister to you? And this kid right in the middle leans in and says, yes. So I said, son, you're clearly confused and you need glasses, but this is a speech. We need to move on. I'm giving it. Let's go. And so that was that. But Debbie Hines walked into the Mullers' home all those years ago, and instead of picking one of the many little girls in the house, 4 or 5 little girls, 3 or 4 little boys, and me, the first thing she sees on the carpeted floor before her redheaded, wavy-haired Giovanni with my famous red rubber ducky overalls I'm not ashamed to say I wore. And she said that was the moment she fell in love in her journal of those days, which is how I know this story. And she went back to Pat Hines and said, let's take him in because he needs us. And I needed them, didn't I? Yeah. Yes. And they took me in at 9 months of age, but there was a problem. I was violently ill all day, every day, sick as a dog. You see, my birth parents in my formative months had been feeding me and my brother what they could steal. Kool-Aid, Coca-Cola, and sour milk was my first diet. I had a distended belly filled with liquid and a bruise from the top of my sternum to the bottom of my abdomen from being malnourished for so long. 30 days in the Hines home, neither Debbie nor I slept a wink because of how sick I was. Doctor after doctor, specialist after specialist, no one could tell Pat and Debbie what was wrong with their new-to-be son until one specialist came forward and said, Patrick, Deborah, there's nothing physically wrong with this child. It is all emotional, 9 months of age. But that wasn't true. The food I had been fed poisoned my brain. What we know about gut-to-brain health today is that your gut biome houses all of your serotonin, and that affects your brain chemistry. I was, in effect, mentally ill from the very beginning. Did I have a chance? Pat and Debbie made sure I did. Patrick and Deborah Hines saved our lives. They could have easily had natural-born children, but they opted to take in 3 kids from 3 separate homes into one household and make a melting pot of a family. We didn't look alike, and people noticed. Me, I'm mixed. My brother's black. My sister's white. Pat and Debbie are Irish and German. People were confused. Women would cross the street when we walked with our mom. I kid you not, they would cross the street. They'd do this like semicircle around us, like some kind of lion pride. They'd lean in like this. They'd do one of these. They'd lean in closer and in a prejudicial tone, they'd say something to the effect of, excuse me, miss, how did all of that happen? To which my mom would very quickly and aptly reply, oh, you know, different fathers. Which was epic, right? Way to go, Mom. Round of applause for Debbie Hines. Round of applause for Debbie Hines. Different fathers, they didn't realize she wasn't the only mother. They ran right back across the street. We didn't care that some restaurants wouldn't seat us at night because what we looked like as a family, we got up, we went somewhere else, we ate something else, we were happy until we weren't. Until at 17 and a half years of age, my brain officially broke. I had a complete mental breakdown at 17 and a half years old on stage in a theater show portraying a character they call Gatch in a show, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. He's one of the lead characters. I'm on that stage in one of my father Patrick's old suits and ties. They'd hem to fit me because, well, Pat Hines is 6'1", and I know you can't tell, I'm not. Because I'm a very misleading tall 5'7", just to be clear. 5'7 and a quarter, you know, and I'm on that stage looking out into a 1,200-person crowd. Not one seat is open. It's opening night, and I had been unwell. I'd been having manic highs followed by depressive lows I didn't know what to call. I've been having paranoid delusions, believing people were out to get me, trying to hurt me, trying to kill me. But do you think I was telling anybody about them? No, I buried it. I was having hallucinations, auditory and visual, hearing and seeing things that nobody else can see or hear, but believing them to be as real as the hands in front of my face. Do you think I told anybody about that? No, I buried that too. My new friends here in Georgia, I got really good at something a lot of us have become good at, adults and youth alike. I got really good at silencing my pain. How many of you will be bold honest and real with me right now by a raise of hands and tell me if you have ever silenced your pain. Tell me the truth.
You both.
Show me the truth. There it is, every one of us. My new friends, if you are going to learn one thing from me today, and one thing alone, may I kindly and calmly ask that it be this. When you leave those doors and you go about the rest of your natural, important, and beautiful lives, do me a solid and never again silence your pain. Why? Because your pain is valid. Your pain is worthy of my time and others, and your pain matters simply because all of you do. When we silence our pain, when we bury our struggles, it only bubbles and builds and rages until it bursts in things like rage, aggression, violence, substance use disorder, suicidal thoughts, ideals or actions, eating disorders, all of the above maybe. When we unburden ourselves and speak upon our pain to someone willing to empathize, a pain shared becomes a pain halved, right? When you tell your pain to someone who cares about you, you can survive it. Now, I wish I knew all of this back when I made my way out to the Golden Gate Bridge at 19 years of age, 2 years after my diagnosis of bipolar type 1 with psychotic features. The very same brain disease I would find out later in life that both of my biological parents had before me, and they had that before they ever took drugs or alcohol. They were coping. That was their way to move forward. I found myself at 19 years of age sitting at my desk writing that note. That note to my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister and my best friend and my girlfriend at the time. I wrote that note. I said, Mom, I love you, but you're not always right. Dad, I love you, but stop bringing the office home. This isn't work. I said to my little brother Joseph, who wanted nothing more than to be the greatest DJ on the West Coast, should be a household name. I said to my sister Elizabeth, who wanted to make films, you got this, go get it. I said to my best friend, arguably the worst part of the entire note, I said to him, find another best friend, as if that's remotely how it works. I said to my girlfriend at the time, and this I'm not proud of, I said, it's not you, it's me. Guys, that's not good enough. I put that note in my shoulder bag, that shoulder bag by the door. At 6 a.m, I entered my father Patrick's room. He lay there sleeping, wearing his breathing apparatus. Anybody know about those sleep apnea machines? Oh, yeah. Parents and grandparents have? He sounded like Darth Vader snoring, you know? You know, like that. It's supposed to keep you from snoring. He clearly was not doing it correctly. I don't know. It was a mess. I walked in there. I startled my dad awake. He looked at me and took one look at me and said, Kevin, what's wrong? And I wanted to tell him the truth. I wanted to tell the one man who loved me the most in the entire world everything, but did I? No, I doubled down. I took the welling water in my eyes and I shoved it back inside. I lied through my teeth that morning. He said, Kev, we'll go to the beach. I said, no. Kev, we'll go to the movies. No, Dad, got to be at City College today. Kev, we'll do whatever you want. I just feel like you need to be with me today. He was so close, yet so far away. What happened that day was not his fault. Not by any means necessary. It wasn't his fault, my mom's fault, any of my friends' fault. It was not even my fault. When I leapt off the Golden Gate Bridge that day, I knew not what I was doing. I wasn't being selfish, as some people call suicide. I was in the greatest lethal emotional pain I'd ever experienced in my life. And what is the one thing, my new friends, that you want to happen when you find yourselves in excruciating physical pain? What do you want that pain to do? Stop. Go away. End. That is physical pain. I argue that brain pain is at the very least 300,000 times worse than any physical pain I've ever experienced in my life. And I promise you, I have experienced excruciating physical pain, but it never once came close to the enemies I battle within every day. Every day. On the day of my attempt, I convinced my father that I would be fine. He offered to drive me to City College if I take the bus home. I said, sounds good, Dad, knowing in my mind that I would never see him again, or at least so I thought. He dropped me off at City College. I kissed my father on the cheek as I had done since I was a little kid. I told him I loved him. He turned to me and said one of his favorite mantras, Kevin, I love you, be careful. He said it every day. We're lucky he can say it today. Kevin, I love you. Be careful. I stepped out of the car with my right foot and I stood. A tear rolled down my cheek off my chin and it landed on my right lug's boot onto the middle shoelace. I'll never forget that moment as long as I shall live for two reasons. One, when my father drove away, I said, that's the very last time I will ever see anybody I love and the very last time anybody I love will ever see me, and being completely content to die by my hands. The second reason, they were just darn good boots, you know. I still have them. And so I go into campus and I go to the counselor's department. And I drop 9.5 of my 12.5 scholastic units at the college, the majority of my classes. And the counselor doesn't bat an eye. Not one question, not one who, why, what, when, or how, Kevin, are you dropping all these courses in one day? Nothing. Today, City College of San Francisco has a different protocol. When someone walks in and drops 50% of their classes or a third of their classes, they ask the questions quite bluntly. Are you thinking of killing yourself? Have you made plans to take your life? And do you have the means? They don't put the thought in someone's mind if they're not already thinking about it. They give them permission to speak on their pain, and a pain shared is a pain halved. Thank you. A pain shared is a pain halved. But they didn't have that protocol for me. I went into my only remaining class, English, and people over time have asked me, why, Kevin, did you keep your English class? It's very rudimentary, very simple, really. Yeah, sure, I wrote 2 books, but there are 36 errors in the opening acknowledgments of the first book alone. You'd think the editor would have caught one of them. And I wasn't the editor, just to be clear. I think the editor caught one of them. No, I went to English class for one reason. The teacher was gorgeous. I just wanted to see her one last time. It was the only rational thing I did all day. I'm serious. I'm sorry. Just the truth bombs here, okay? And I left that class early. I got on a Muni train, then I got onto a bus. I sat in the very back row in the middle seat looking out upon everyone, hoping, wishing, and praying that one person would see me, see my pain, and say something kind like, hey, buddy, are you okay? Brother, is something wrong? Or, pal, can I help you? I would have told them everything and begged them to save me. No, I could not tell my father that morning. I was not yet that morning what suicidologists, the people who study suicide prevention, call ambivalent. But on that bus, all I wanted to do was live. I never once wanted to die by my hands off the Golden Gate Bridge. I believed I had to, and those are 2 categorically different things. The bus got to the Golden Gate Bridge parking lot. Everybody deboarded right there except for me, with their fanny packs from the 1990s that were multicolored and zippered, and their foreign accents from all over the world, and their cameras that weren't phones. And they got off that bus, and I sat there crying. Do you know the only person to react to me on the bus aloud when there were still people on it was a man to my left who said to the man next to him while pointing at me with his thumb, with a smile on his face while laughing at me, what the hell's wrong with that kid? And that, my newfound friends, is what's wrong with some of society today. This innate human ability we have to see someone, anyone, in the greatest lethal emotional pain they have ever experienced, but feel nothing for them but fear of them and apathy toward them. That's his or her problem, but it ain't mine. I got things to do, people to see, and places to go. I formidably disagree with that way of thinking. I believe, like all of you believe, that's why you're here today. I believe if we are nothing else on this beautiful planet, we are at the very least supposed to be one thing together, our brothers and sisters and individuals keepers. Would you agree?
Yes.
We are not here for personal betterment or gain. We have a sole and singular purpose in this life, and that purpose is to do one thing, to give back. Giving is the true receiving. We are meant to give back to those we know, those we love, those we don't know from Adam, and even those we don't even like. What we are not here to do is damage each other with our words or our actions. That much I know to be true. This is coming from a kid back in grade school in 4th grade who was taken by the 8th graders, picked up, turned upside down, and placed in a garbage can face first because I was part black. This is coming from a kid who was taken by the 8th graders, his head held down as he swung to try to get away from them, and they would call me a little red N-word every day. Do you think I appreciated that? Do you think it played a role in me leaping off that bridge? Oh, yeah. Yes, it did. We have to be careful what we say and how we act in front of the people we know and love and the people we don't know and the people we don't like. Because you never know what's going to impact them in such a way that's going to tear them down. The bus got to the Golden Gate Bridge parking lot. Everybody deboarded. I walked off onto the walkway of the Golden Gate Bridge crying like a child. I walked back and forth across that bridge, that 2-mile stretch of walkway, for 40 minutes crying like a baby. Bikers, joggers, tourists, runners, police officers searching for suicidal people went by me twice. Those officers had not been trained in suicide prevention. They are today. And today they save between 50 and 120 lives every year, and that's amazing. But they didn't have that protocol for me. I stood at a particular light rail I'll never forget where. I leaned over that light rail, my tears crying them down to the waters below, and that's when it happened. A woman from my left approached me. She had blonde curly hair and those gigantic sunglasses you ladies love to wear in the heat that don't fit your face. You look like giant human bugs. And she approached with a smile, and I thought to myself, this is it. I don't have to do this. I don't have to die today. She's going to ask me if I'm okay. I left the fate of my life in this poor stranger's hands. Was that fair? No, she can't read my mind. The sun was probably in her eyes. She approached with that smile. I believe she was going to ask me if I was okay. Instead, she pulls out a digital camera and says, "Will you take my picture?" I had to laugh like, lady, this is terrible timing. I took her picture. She posed 5 times. She took her camera and she walked away, but not 20 yards off the bridge. She walked back across the entire 2-mile stretch of walkway to re-experience that 9th wonder of the world in all its glorious beauty. I was there to end all of mine. When she left, I said in my head, absolutely no one cares. Was that true? No. Everybody cared. Every member of my family, every one of my friends, my acquaintances would have been there to rip me from that rail to safety to show me how much they cared. By a raise of hands, how many of you would have cared? Thank you, and I to you. When she walked away, I said, no one cares, and the voice in my head, the auditory hallucination, beckoned at decimals I can't express to you without piercing eardrums, jump now, and I did. I walked back toward the traffic railing. I sprinted forward, and using these 2 hands, I catapulted my hands over that rail. But that is not the important part of this story, unlike most people will tell you. Pay attention. This next piece is. The very millisecond, the moment my hands left that rail and my legs cleared it, instantaneous regret from my actions and the absolute recognition that I had just made the greatest mistake of my life, and it was likely too late. Do you remember the percentage? 99% of the people, it's been too late. They never again get to share their life story with anyone. I fell 250 feet, 25 stories, closing in on 80 miles per hour in 4 seconds. In those 4 seconds, these were the words that rang true in my mind. What have I just done? I don't want to die. God, please save me. And then I hit the water. Hitting that water from that height at that speed is like hitting a solid brick wall. You stop for less than a second, and an impact reverberates through your legs into your lower back, and it shatters your T12, L1, L2 lower vertebrae into shards. That's what it did to me. I missed on that day, severing my spinal cord by 2 millimeters. Millimeters. Show me a millimeter with your hands right now, and know that I'm looking at you so I can see who's not doing it. Show me a millimeter with your hands right now. I went 70 feet beneath the water surface. I opened my eyes and I was drowning, and I did not want to drown. I swam as fast as my arms would take me to the surface. My legs I couldn't feel, but they were working. I got closer and closer to the lit circle of water above me. It was the fastest I ever swam in my life because all I wanted to do was live. The depression was wiped from my mind. The suicidal ideations were gone. The auditory hallucinations disappeared. I fought for every waking move in that water. I got closer and closer to the lit circle of water above me, and I thought, this is it. I'm not going to make it. This is where I die. I began to convulse and asphyxiate. I was running out of air. And I thought to myself, Kevin, you can't die here. If you die here, no one will ever know you didn't want to. No one will ever know you knew you made a mistake. I broke the surface of the water. I bobbed up and down in it, and I did the one thing I have had control over since kindergarten. I prayed. God, please save me. I don't want to die. God, please save me. I don't want to die. I made a mistake on repeat, and I promise you, he heard me. A woman driving by in a red car at the moment of my attempt saw me go over the rail and called her friend from her car phone. Yes, car phone, not cell phone, year 2000. Called her friend from her car phone in the United States Coast Guard, who happened to be manning the waters of the bridge at that very moment. The singular reason the Coast Guard boat arrived to my position within less than the time I would set in hypothermia and drown a 3-minute window was because of that woman's phone call. In the water before the Coast Guard boat arrived, something began to circle beneath me, something large and slimy and very, very alive, and I was freaking out. I remember thinking to myself, you've got to be kidding me. I didn't die jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge and a shark is going to eat me. No! And I'm punching this thing, but it won't go away. It's circling faster and faster, faster and faster. I'm waiting for it to bite off an arm or a leg or an ear like Tyson. What, too soon? Come on. For those of you over here, Mike Tyson was a boxer. He bit off Evander Holyfield's ear in a boxing match. Anyway, just in case you were wondering, look that up, Google. It's a good place to go. And so I'm waiting for this creature to bite my leg off or my ear off, but it doesn't. It doesn't bite me. It's circling faster and faster. No longer am I wading in the water. I'm lying atop it, being kept buoyant by this creature, thinking to myself, this is one heck of a nice shark. And then so I decided, I did what any of us would do in that situation. I named him Herbert, because it's my favorite name. And what else was I going to do? I had time in my hands. So this creature's circling beneath me. It's bumping me up, keeping me afloat. I'm just freaking out, and then the Coast Guard boat arrives. The creature takes off. I would later learn what it was. I was on a television program a year later promoting a suicide prevention campaign on ABC News. I said on the show I thought there was a shark beneath me in the water. People wrote into the show from all over the world. One man's letter stuck out above all the rest. His name was Morgan. He was from Las Vegas, Nevada. He was on the bridge that day with his mom. He said, Kevin, and I quote, he said, Kevin, I'm so very glad you're alive. I was standing less than 2 feet away from you when you jumped. Until this day, watching this show, no one would tell me whether you lived or died. It's haunted me until right now. By the way, there was no shark, like you mentioned you thought there was on the show, but there absolutely was a sea lion. And the people above looking down believed it to be keeping your body afloat until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind you. Now, you call that whatever you want. That is my miracle, and I will always believe. I'm making a point here, my new friends. Making a point here. I get to be here. And getting to be here is a privilege and a gift, no matter the pain you are in. You can do one of two things with your pain. You can let it defeat you, or you can let it build you brick by brick from the ground up until you are stronger than ever. Don't let your pain defeat you, and never learn the hard way like I did. Fight your pain, in spite of your pain, despite of your pain, to thrive someday. You owe it to yourself. And know this, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you will go through, you are beautiful just as you are. You are pertinent to this world. You matter most. And suicide is never the solution to your problem, because it is the problem. Suicidal ideations are the greatest liars we know. Do not listen to them. You are valued, you are loved, and you matter to me and everybody in this room. And if nobody else says it today, I love you, and I want you to stay. My friends, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That is why we call it the present. And if y'all don't believe me, Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda said that. And talking cartoon turtles always know what's up. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is our gift. Let us always and forever cherish this day and every waking moment of this gorgeous gift we all get to call life. From the bottom of my heart, from my gut, thank you for listening. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wendell Field says hello. He's in the chat.
Oh, there we go.
Said you saved his life. So.
Oh, wow. Thank you
so much. I want you to stay right here. So, wow. What a story, what a message. I have tons of notes here, but we have a special gift we want to present to you. Esther is bringing that gift over. Now, it's a beautiful blanket that Esther actually created, or is it, I don't even know if it's crocheted or hand knitted, right, with love in the suicide prevention colors to really celebrate your message, Kevin, your life, and who you are to so many. I was going to ask Dustin, what are they saying online, but we just found out you saved somebody's life. So what else, Dustin, are they saying about his message?
So everybody, of course, in the room and in the chat is extremely moved. But people that have even already heard your story said this was your best speech yet.
Wow.
And I do QPRs all the time. I always show your video. I always talk about you. And this one hit me so deep and was so relevant. And I think I can speak for all of us to say you changed our lives just a little bit today, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for taking your time out of your schedule to be with us today. Thank you for the lives that you touched, the lives that you saved. Wow. No matter what, you are beautiful, pertinent, you matter. And suicide ideation is the greatest liar we know. You are valued and you are loved, and we want you to stay. Wow. If you can just take that to somebody in your community and ask the questions, right? What are you considering suicide? What's going on? Asking that, confronting the liar that suicide ideation is, and just know you have the power to save that life. Thank you so much, Kevin, once again. So we're going to shift a little bit. There are 150 people online. So hey to y'all online. Thank y'all for continuing to join us. You're not in the room, but you are in the room. We are about to go into some breakout sessions at our tables. And I'm going to bring up Ms. Tara Combs with us to guide us and lead us into our next group discussion. And I think there's a lot to talk about after listening to this powerful message.
Hello, hello, hello.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you all for attending and being present with us today. So this is a part of the program that everybody can participate in, whether you're virtual or whether you're here. So we're just going to, at every table, you should see a form similar to this one that has, it says table facilitator task. So whoever's in front of you are the lucky one to be the facilitator of your table. Yay. And what we're going to do now is just going to go over some brief topics and some questions, and we want you guys to discuss them at your table, and then we're going to discuss them as a group. So first of all, I just want to know, how many people have attended Prevention Day before? Any Prevention Day? Thank you. And how many people have advocated with your legislature before? Good. So then you know what to do. So you know how to help facilitate these discussion topics. And also, if you have not, and you do not know who your elected officials are, you can go to www.openstates.org, and that's openstatesplural.org. So what we're going to talk about today, the first topic we're going to talk about is what are the main concerns regarding this suicide prevention in your community. We're going to let you guys take a few minutes to talk as a table. The second topic is, can you share what strategies you are using in your school community to address this issue? What is the most important message regarding this issue that you want to communicate to your senator and representative? What is the issue affecting your community, your family, friends, and/or yourself? Is there anything that you want to ask your senator or representative to do regarding this issue? And we're going to give you guys time to talk about it, then we're going to come back and discuss as a group. So take a few minutes and do that. Thank you. So, I heard that. So we want to bring you guys back. Now we're going to discuss as a group some of these topics, and we're going to have Dustin chime in with what's going on online. The first topic was, what are the main concerns regarding this suicide prevention in your community? So who would like to share? I'm going to ask people to share, and then I might call on people if you don't volunteer. Hello, yes. Yes, stand up, baby. Here you go.
Thank you.
You got nervous. Take your mask off.
Some of the main concerns would be that making sure people are okay, having good community, having like a good community or good surroundings, making sure that people have a lot of company or support around them, making sure that they have resources or things that can help them, making sure, they're healthy and have good coping mechanisms, and just making sure that you're being kind to people and like not using negative or condescending tones or words towards people.
That's great. What's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor? Taylor, where are you from? What school do you go to?
I go to Sequoia Middle School.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in 8th grade.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate you. She said it. Say it again.
Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor. Our next question for discussion is, what can you share what strategies you are using in your school or community to address the issue of suicide prevention? Any takers? Any takers? Yes. Woo! Sonica, right?
Okay, so I go to McIntosh High School, which is in Peachtree City. And in Peachtree City, there are a ton of kids. So our counselors have a lot of kids that they have to deal with. So mental health is kind of put on the back burner because a lot of our counselors only focus on, college admissions. How are we going to prepare you for the next step? And I think we sometimes forget about mental health. But through Sources of Strength, a lot of people have been, reaching out. But I just don't think it's a teaching moment. Like, we really don't get to learn about suicide prevention. We don't learn about, the stigma in mental health. We don't learn about how to talk about it to our peers. So, I mean, I have a little bit of an idea. I was thinking about starting a club for my school, but I don't know where to start with that because I don't want it to look like I'm trying to, offend sources of strength. I just want to do something a little bit different, maybe include speakers, just to create something where teens can feel comfortable to know that they have somebody that's their age who can maybe relate to them or that they can go and confide in.
Yeah. Good. I'm going to give you this card, and we're here to help you get that started.
That's right. See, networking, that is what we're here to do. We are here to make sure that we can get this information out in the community and make sure we help all that needs to help. That's great. Thank you, Rachel. That was amazing. Next topic for discussion is, what is the most important message regarding this issue that you want to communicate to your senator or your representative? Takers going once, going twice. Over here, okay. We got one over here. Come on up. Come on down.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You can take your mask off if you like.
One thing I would say is that there needs to be more funding put in place to ensure that the appropriate personnel is put in place to educate the youth on how to grow up healthy physically and mentally.
Great. Now, what's your name?
My name is Kennedy Swinton. I attend Tucker Middle School.
What grade?
I'm in 7th grade.
You go, girl. Yes. I know. We have another one? Yes. Come on down. No, you're not. No one's safe. You got this. Which one is this you? Yeah. What would you want to say to your legislative senator? That this affects everybody from age 0 to 99. Geriatric suicides are up as well as kids, and the fact that the leading cause of death of suicide is for 10 to 14-year-olds in Georgia. That leads the nation. That's above the national average. Our babies are dying, and they don't even get a chance to fight. So they need, along with the parents need the education as well as the students, and we need to come together and not just try to be separate. We need to collaborate and have those communications like we're doing today. And again, thank you. Okay, what's your name? Michelle Cope. What school do you go to? I went to Colquitt County High School down in Moultrie, Georgia, and then I tried to go to Georgia Southern. I attempted for a little while. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dustin, what are some people saying online about these topics?
We had one good one from Wendell. I'm trying to make sure I'm close enough to this mic. He said, one issue is the mindset of the faith-based community not hearing the message of suicide prevention and awareness, not understanding how to use community resources or support, and not being aware of, I got to scroll because new stuff's coming in. Not being aware of those resources and support, people not understanding the medical components to mental health issues. So I think this is huge. I'll add to this with the community work that I do. It's kind of a mental health service desert in South Georgia. People are doing what they can, but there's not a lot of licensed therapists. But there are a lot of ministers, and a lot of people do go to churches. If we could activate some of those places where people already come with some of their burdens and give them the training they need to link those resources and a little more education, we could do a world of good. So I think Wendell's spot on. Let's empower our faith communities to understand what resources are available and how to access those.
Dustin, give us one more time. What area are you covering?
I'm down in South Georgia in Colquitt, Grady, and Thomas County.
And who do you work with?
I work with Hearts for Families.
Yes, thank you. So thank you guys, everyone, for participating. One other thing another way that you're going to participate is if you look at your tables, everybody should have a ribbon. And we're going to there should be ribbons at every table, and there should be markers.
And what we're going to do with these ribbons and these markers, are we going to take a time to address our why? Why do we advocate? Advocacy is something that's very important in all the communities, across all demographics. I'm going to use myself an example. My why for advocating is because I want to be the voice for the people who are unseen and unheard. So I want to make sure that people that usually don't have a voice in the community get that voice, and that they're seen and they're recognized and they're heard, and that their problems and issues are addressed. So what is your why? So take a couple minutes to write down what your why is. We're gonna put them on the wall if we have time. If not, we would like for you to put them on your social media and tag and use our hashtag so that we can share them with the suicide prevention community that's with us today. And Carmen shared those hashtags. I think that I know one is hashtag change through hope. Hope through action. Thank you. And the through is THRU, hope through action. There's hashtag SPD 2022. Thank you, Carmen. And prevent suicide Georgia, and hashtag SPD.
Also, Tara.
Yes.
Erin Conaway wanted us to bring up, she's got it in the chat here, to go check out activeminds.org/program. If you want to get some more resources on how to form one of those organizations that y'all were speaking about, check out that URL and you'll get some more information on how to start one of those groups.
Thank you, Erin, for that information. Looks like Carmen is coming up with some more giveaways. Yes, she is. Yes.
All right, so you all are writing your why. So as you're doing that, we're kind of going to multitask just a little bit. I do want to stop again and pause. We recognize our sponsors, but I want to say thank you again to DBHDD, Voices for Prevention, the Council on Alcohol and Drugs, as well as Beacon Health Options for sponsoring today. So one more round of applause to them. And thank you for all you all do. Thank you to our young people that are present today here in the building, but also online. Thank you, everyone, for attending. So we are not closing just yet. There is a survey that we need you to complete. So I think if you scan the QR code on your table, so there should be a QR code on your table. Please take a moment to scan that, to give us your feedback. We really want to make this an event that supports you, supports your needs, that meets what you need in your communities, and that each year we will get better and better at doing this. And we only can do that by hearing your feedback. So take a moment to do that. Yes, Esther. Okay, thank you. So if you, in your folder, thank you, Rachel, our beautiful, right, Vanna White, yeah, our beautiful model here. It's in your swag bag. There is a survey. You can fill out the hard copy as well. The doors will be locked until you complete them. So no, I'm just joking. But we do want you to please complete them so we can make sure we do better each time. So you have, anybody want to share really quickly one of the things you wrote down for your why? Just a couple people.
You don't have to come up.
You don't have to come up. You can yell it out and I'll just repeat it in the mic. Yes. Go ahead. Okay, I couldn't catch it all, but to encourage our youth to live out their destiny. We are waiting to see you soar. Yes, awesome. Thank you. Take flight. All right. Yes.
To be the person that I never had.
Woo. To be the person I never had. Wow, that's powerful, right? And just think about that. Think about what you needed and what you need even, right? And as young people, you don't have to wait till you become an adult to be that person. I talk to young people all the time, and I'm like, you're a leader already. You're a leader now, and you can be supportive to others. So you got your tickets out. Get ready. We have another Amazon gift card. So I'm stirring it up. And the ticket number is 338024. 338024. I'm moving a little fast. You must be present to win. Yeah, if you win, we need to know you won. Like, jump up. Come on, let's go. 338024. Come on. She's like, I'm not sure. I think maybe. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right. Our next drawing is for a pair of wireless earbuds. Who is ready? Oh, that's yours. Somebody already claiming the thing. All right. Let's see. All right. Here we go. I got one. 338014. 338 right here. All right. We got it. Come on down. Awesome. Congratulations. All right. This is a camera because we are in the Instagram age, right? So you can just set it on your desk, have your camera, Bluetooth activated, also has a microphone, 360 full display. Wait a minute, this is not a prize. You meant to just give this to me. I'm sorry. She was just handing this to me. All right, so here we go. I know, right? It needs filters, right? Snapchat filters, yes. All right, 338032. God dang it, she almost had it. Almost. 032. Woo! Okay, now you got to promise, like when you use this, that you use our hashtag, that you tag us on some of these things so we... All right, so we stay connected. Awesome. Congratulations. All right, this is the grand prize, the big daddy of them all. Duo, go. This is a tablet. So I want to make sure, where are my reading glasses? Because I need to make sure I know that, what is my number? That's what I just need to call that. Like, okay.
Just say Tara, you can have it.
All right, let's go. All right, I'm going deep for this one. And here we go. 338039. Oh! Awesome. Congratulations on your winnings, on your prizes. So again, if you want, we want to get pictures with some of our winners so we can hashtag and really celebrate you on our social media because we social like that, okay? So make sure you do that. A couple things I remind you about the surveys. Please don't forget that. We have a proclamation that was done for Suicide Prevention Day by our governor. So please stop by here, get a picture with that. Make sure that you recognize that. And if your organizations are on social media, take some pictures today, tag us, use our hashtag so that we can all stay connected in this work. We saw what happened just in this room. The connections and networks that were made just in this room and how powerful that can happen. And so take this same energy, take this same light, take this same encouragement as we go off into our communities. Any last minute words, Dustin, from our folks online?
There's a little bit of a delay, but we've gotten some really good feedback on some of the questions. One I'll add is, one suicide in a community is usually followed by more because trauma can chemically alter the brain forever and lead to previously healthy brains developing mental illness and the person struggling with their own suicidal thoughts. That was from Andrea Lovelace.
Awesome.
So we've got some good wisdom in here from our online community. So this room has been alive and well, and everyone seems to have really enjoyed the experience. And someone said, y'all both look really, really good today.
Well, come on.
Yeah.
Where's the camera?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, yes.
That somebody was me.
Yes.
But
well, thank you still. I'll take it. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. So also before we go, we have a special presentation of something that's coming on the horizon. Breaking news. Are y'all ready? So we're going to play an audio. You see the image on the screen about this 988. What is this? We're about to find out. In a moment, we're going to find out. And it's going to be brought to us by Dawn Peel, who is the director of DBHDD Office of Crisis Services. So she'll be bringing us an audio and telling us a little bit about this.
For DBHDD. I'm here this morning to talk to you briefly about 988. So 988 is a nationwide simple number that individuals will be able to use starting on July 16th of this year to access assistance for suicidal thoughts or other types of behavioral health crises. Currently in Georgia, we have the Georgia Crisis and Access Line, which can be used 24/7, 365 by call, chat, or text for individuals to reach out in these types of situations. We are excited for the rollout of 988 as it will be able to connect individuals very easily to those types of services that GCAL currently provides, as well as help to destigmatize the act of reaching out for assistance. Thank you again for having me here today, and have a wonderful day at the Capitol.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Ms. Peel. Yes, for your message. And 988 is coming in July, so stay tuned, stay close. Lastly, I have Tara come to give our thank yous to the committee.
Thank you, Carmen. You are so amazing at your job. I wanted to just take a few moments to thank everybody with the Planning Committee. I also wanted to reiterate the thanks to our sponsors, DBHDD, the Council on Alcohol and Drugs, V4P, and Beacon Health Options. This has been a long time coming. We've been working on this since October, and I'm so glad and so thankful to the committee members that stuck with us as long as we did to make sure that this day came, and it is now here. And thank you, God. But I also want to send a special thanks to Miss Esther and Nicole, Esther Lopez and Nicole Dinsmore. They have been just amazing with making sure that this day happened, and all the things behind the scenes, all the little intricate things that took place, even down to the confetti and the little stickers on your tables that you can take home. That they even made sure that that was taken care of, and just the little things. And if anybody from the Planning Committee is here, I would love for you to please take a stand so you can take your bow, because your hard work is not going unnoticed, and I want to make sure you know that. Thank you. And I also want to thank Ms. Carmen for being our illustrious MC. She is amazing. I'm her manager now, so if you guys want to hire her, contact me. But no, thank you guys again, and I appreciate all of your commitment, all your help, and your attendance physically and virtually. You guys have a great day. Continue to be great and show the world how amazing you are. And they have 30 days online to continue to look at this broadcast. And we have virtual booths that are on the website, on the virtual platform. And you can get points. People who are watching virtual, you get points by attending and clicking on all of the virtual booths and downloading information or looking at videos. So please make sure you do that.
And you guys get extra points if you go to the Hearts for Families one. So go check that out.
Or extra points to go to the Council on Alcohol and Drugs. Just go make sure you look at everybody's virtual platform, because it took a lot of work to get those done. And we want to thank Ms. Gabby in the background for making sure, Gabby Hernandez, for making sure the virtual booths are as immaculate as they are. So if all hearts and minds are ready, and we are letting everybody know that there are lunches over here to my left, please feel free to stay and socialize and network, or you can get your lunch and take it to go. And at home, you go to your kitchen. And if you're at home, go to the kitchen.
Voices for Prevention are going to mail yours to you. So.
But thank you so much again, and you guys have a great day.